Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And I feel a little bit energized today because normally I've been doing these shows at midnight so we can wrap up free agency and all of that. Finally get to do one during the day, and I got a little bit more energy. I feel better. I feel good. Shoot. The Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, had a busy week. A busy week. Not just the Knicks, but a lot of teams had a busy week. But the Knicks definitely had a busy week. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. Not that we haven't broken it down to the compound, to the very last compound already, but we're going to break it down some more. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Boogie Down Productions in the building. We're going to break it down some more, man. I got my man Kev. We got Nate. We got Joe Madden. We got T. Crow in the building. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing on and popping, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to you guys for being here. Hopefully your day is going smooth. You been having a good day, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and let's get these guys over here and see what they're talking about, man. What's up, fellas? How you feeling?
Feeling great.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Feeling great.
It's been a super duper busy week for the New York Knicks, man. Like, super duper busy week. We're going to break it down. We're just going to go ahead and get into it and break it down because the last week has been one for the ages and maybe even one that we've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? Already got people calling in. I didn't even open up the phone lines yet. What you calling about, homie?
You ready to talk?
Sheesh. Can we get a chance to talk first before I answer the phones? Let us talk a little bit, then I'm going to answer the phone. Jeez,
That used to be me, sir.
Jeez Louise. Big shout out to everybody that's on YouTube, that's on Sportscaster. We appreciate you guys for taking the time. But yeah, it's been a hectic week, man. A hectic week. Crazy week. Let's go ahead and let's break it down of everything that's going on this week. And I might miss something. I don't know. Because a lot's happened. But we're going to go ahead. I don't know what all that noise is behind me, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to break it down. Let's do it. So far, over the last week, this is what the New York Knicks have done, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing they did, before they even got started, before the draft even took place, they traded the 27th and 38th pick for the 23rd pick. And already you thought, yo, something might be going down here. Something might be happening. And then they drafted Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin slipped to the 8th pick, right? Now, did he slip? Or, fellas, did Leon Rose threaten everybody in the league and say, if you draft Obi Toppin, you know what's about to happen?
Yep.
Which one did he do? Which one happened? Did he slip or was it all Leon Rose and, the mob?
Everybody knew he was going to draft Obi Toppin, so they let him have him.
That's what I'm saying. They was like, you know what? This man got a little bit of clout. We don't want to mess with Leon because we know if we mess with Leon,
the mob boss,
something's going to happen. They might be hanging from the garden ceiling.
John Rose.
They might be, he might be dangling them from the Empire State Building.
Kiss of death.
You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he just sends the message to CAA and says, nah, don't send that dude over there. No players to this team, that team, or that team because they tried to draft Obi. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever he did. He used his mob boss affiliations to make some moves. But Obi Toppin fell to the Knicks, and they were able to draft Obi Toppin. All right, let's see what's next. After they draft Obi Toppin, then they traded the 23rd pick for the 25th pick and the 33rd pick. You see, I think the plan was for them to use that 23rd pick and the 8th pick to maybe move up to get Obi. I don't know how many people would have liked that. I don't know if I was even a fan of that, but I think that's what they were looking to do. Right? Just so happened, they didn't have to do that. So they traded the 23rd pick for the 25th and the 33rd pick. But then guess what? even when they traded that 23rd pick back down, they still ended up with a better draft position than they started because they started with the 27th and the 38th. All right, shrewd move, I think. Then they drafted Emmanuel quickly. I thought that maybe they were looking at R.J. Hampton. R.J. Hampton was taken with the 24th pick. So he wasn't there. So they drafted Emmanuel quickly. Then they drafted Daniel Oturu. Many of us thought, okay, they drafted a backup center for Mitch. Maybe not bad. We'll see what happens to him. Well, unbeknownst to us, they had something else in mind. They traded Daniel Oturu for 2 second-round picks in 2023. 2023 has the potential to be a very deep draft class. Then they signed Miles Powell. Miles Powell is a close friend of Obi Toppin. They've been working out all summer. Or not all summer. I guess all summer. Well, let me see. Where are we? We're in November. They've been working out for the last 8 months. Let's say that. They've been working out together. And then they waived Elfrid Payton. They waived Taj Gibson. They waived Wayne Ellington. They waived Kenny Wooten. You figure, okay, they're setting up for free agency. Not only did they waive those guys, but they also declined Bobby Portis' team option. So you know, they might know something. They freed up $41 million in cap space. People started to get excited because they freed up so much cap space. Then they absorbed Ed Davis's contract for 2 second-round picks in 2023. And everybody said, they're angling for a move. Right? They're setting the table. They're setting the plate. 2 more second-round draft picks. Right? They got 5 draft picks in 2023. So everybody's thinking. Then they signed Alec Burks. Again, people say, okay. You know, they signed a shooter. That means they're getting ready for somebody that could penetrate to the basket. That's what everybody thought. Must be the Russell Westbrook trade coming down the pike because you need these ancillary shooters if you're going to get Russell Westbrook. Then they signed Elfrid Payton, and everybody's heart dropped. Everybody's head went down. Everybody said, why the hell did they just sign Elfrid Payton? I didn't say that, though. I was okay with the move. But most people was like, why the hell did they sign Elfrid Payton?
Exactly.
So then, all the way up until this point, people were like, okay, they're doing an okay job. Alec Burks, okay. As soon as they signed Elfrid Payton, damn, Leon Rose don't know what the hell he's doing. I swear to you, Tony, as soon as the Knicks signed Elfrid Payton, that's the first thing that I read on Twitter. This guy don't know what the hell he's doing. Then they signed Nerlens Noel. And people were like, okay, that's okay move. All right. Still waiting for the big splash because at this point, there's still enough money for the Knicks to make some kind of a splash to do something. Everybody thought it was going to happen. They're waiting. People, sitting there refreshing Twitter all night long. Thumbs getting tired, getting arthritis in the thumb, all kinds of stuff. Wife getting mad, throwing water in their face because they're not paying attention to them, everything. Because they're waiting for the Knicks to do something. What did they do? They signed Austin Rivers. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people are like, okay, he's a good defender. Maybe he can do something. Some people are like, man, he don't move the needle. He probably doesn't move the needle. We'll see. And then the Knicks traded Ed Davis. Now, remember, they picked Ed Davis up earlier, just a couple of days ago. They traded Ed Davis for Amari Spellman, Jacob Davis, and I don't think it's Jacob Evans. I'm sorry, not Jacob Davis. For Amari Spellman, Jacob Evans, and 2 future second-round picks. So the Knicks, again, accumulating draft picks, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, everybody's radar goes up and says, the Knicks got to be working towards something. Accumulating all these draft picks. The Knicks got mega draft picks right now. They got like 8 second-round draft picks, 5 or 6 first-round draft picks over the next 4 or 5 years. It's not bad. You know what I mean? It's been a different week in the land of the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. A different one. A different one. Are they setting up for a move? I believe that they are setting up for a move. It does not mean that that move is going to be this offseason. But I do believe that they're setting up for a move. You know, when that move comes, who knows? You know, but we will see. And I made the adjustment, ladies and gentlemen, just so that you guys don't get confused. His name is Jacob Evans, not Jacob Davis. The Knicks traded Ed Davis for Amari Spellman and Jacob Evans and 2 future second-round picks. Okay. So, guys, you see the list of what happened. And they also drafted another dude that they traded away for the, you know, they drafted another dude at number 23, and they traded him for the 25th and 33rd picks. Basically, they traded the 23rd pick for the 25th and 33rd, but they had to do it through drafting a player and then trading a player for those other picks. Blah, blah, blah. We'll just boil it down to that they traded the 23rd for the 25th and the 33rd. All right? Kev, since I haven't seen you in a couple days, I'm going to start with you. What's your take on the offseason so far? The Knicks are left with... They still have, I think, about $18 million that they can spend in free agency. They have 16 roster spots. They're going to have to dwindle it down to 15.
Well,
talk to me.
First off, salute to the chat. It's been a while, but I think Tony said it correctly when he says, as Knicks fans, we have never seen what just took place since last Wednesday. I mean, you look at past regimes, this regime is standing out all by itself. And it's like, I'm still in shock about what's taking place. I mean, he flipped picks. He picked the guy that he wanted in Obi Toppin and still kept flipping picks. And then picks up Rivers, picks up Burke, picks up Peyton again, but it is what it is. I'm one of those guys that shook my head a little bit. But the one thing that we can say about what he's done is all about relationships. It's all about the good players with good character. All these guys that they picked up all have good, good characteristics, as people. And I think that's what they wanted to fill their, fill the roster with.
Yeah.
I do agree. I don't think they are done, because that's what management is supposed to do. You have to evaluate all areas. So I know that they're getting all these picks. You just said they got 8 second-round picks and
something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like that. They got buco picks, man.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. All those picks could be set up for that player. And how many times in the past have we just thrown money towards guys that, as Mark always tells me, that don't deserve it? They don't. I mean, to get Gordon Hayward deserve what he got from Mike?
Man, Mark don't know what he's talking about. Mark don't know. Oh, hold up. Mark's in here? Hold up.
Yes, Mark is in here.
I didn't mean to say that, Mark. My bad. I'm just
but you know what I'm saying, Sam? How many times have we thrown money towards players that quite frankly, didn't deserve it? I mean, did the contract that Tim Hardaway Jr. had gotten, did he deserve that money? Will Leon giving him that money? After seeing all this, no. And another thing is, all the people that he hired, the capologists, Perrin, all these guys he's hired, they're there for a purpose. And from right now, from the eye test, you're seeing why. Now, of course, it's going to come to what's being put out on the floor.
That's the key right there. What happens on the floor? That's the key right there.
But see, here's the thing with that. We got a coach and a coaching staff that's going to bring out everything in these guys. Not like a Fizdale where we didn't know what he was going to be like. Nothing like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay. I don't know about any other Knicks fans, and I don't care what anybody says. Frank gonna get some run, and that's I'm gonna leave it at that. Next.
All right. Mark, go ahead, Mark. Talk to me, Mark. I didn't mean to talk about you behind your back. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good. You got love for me. It's all good. Listen, I'm gonna say this. I wouldn't be me if I didn't say something I didn't like. My question is, what was the point in bringing back that point guard back to the Knicks? Like, that pissed me off.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why I think. Right, because when you look at the guys that we have, first of all, I don't feel like Peyton played bad at all. 1 year at $5 million. People can say what they want. People gonna be mad and be disgruntled. Most of the stuff that people get mad about last year is because the Knicks had a horrible season. Doesn't mean that every single player was terrible, right? Peyton gave you 10.7 assists. His biggest issue is that he can't shoot well from the three. But despite not being able to shoot well from the three, he shot 44. Hold up, let me finish. He shot 44%.
6 of those assists were from Randall.
What are you talking about? That's dumb. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. See, that's the type of propaganda that to me is just dumb because that's just not the truth, right? It's just not the truth. As a matter of fact, he played very well with Mitchell Robinson. They scored 115 points per game per 100 possessions when him and Mitchell Robinson was on the floor together. They scored 111 points per game per 100 possessions when Elfrid Payton was on the floor versus 103 points per possession per 100 possessions when Elfrid Payton was not on the floor, right? Ooh. The bottom line is that the Knicks could not shoot well, right? Elfrid Payton would not assist. He would help guys get open from the three-point line 6 times per game. And of those 6 times per game, guys shot 34%. Julius Randle would get guys open from the three-point line 5.2 times per game. And they shot like 33, 34%. The only person that had a high percentage when he got people open was Frank Ntilikina, and Frank Ntilikina got people open like 3.2 times per game from the three-point line, and they made 38% of them. All right? So, if you want to blame, obviously Elfrid Payton is not a good three-point shooter. If you want to blame him for other guys not hitting the shots, then go ahead and blame him for them guys not hitting the shot, right? But anyway, the thing is, when you look at the point guards we got, besides Elfrid Payton, none of those other guys are pure point guards. They're off-ball guys.
There wasn't no other point guard before they thought about signing Payton on board?
Well, let's put it like this. Pay attention to what the Knicks did. Not one player has a guaranteed contract. Not one player that they signed has a guaranteed contract past next year. Not even Austin Rivers. Not even Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers is signed for 3 years, but the last 2 years of that contract are non-guaranteed.
So let me say this. After what happened in free agency with all these players, from the Bertans, Gordon Hayward, Fred VanVleet, those people are going to regret paying those guys that type of money. 2,
at least Gordon Hayward.
Bro.
I can't believe Gordon Hayward is making $30 million. I can't believe he's making $30 million a year.
Michael Jordan, man. That dude, Michael Jordan got to be, he is the Michael Jordan of bad G.
Yeah, but go ahead, Mark.
A good shooter. But $80 million, he better be able to do something else than just shoot the basketball for me to pay you $80 million. But again, Sam, they did good. They did good with the collecting whatever they could for players that he even signed and just got rid of, like the way they did it. the way he did it was like on some ninja joint. Like, we ain't keeping you that long. We ain't keeping you that long.
Some
Only like
ninja
you
joint.
said. You know what I like? They're playing for 2021.
Well,
That's what they're doing.
right. But I
They're
think
playing
part
for
of
2021.
right. But
And
see,
if
I think
anybody
part
don't
of it.
believe that, you would have to be stupid.
Well, I think part of it though answers your question when you say, was there other point guards out there? There might have been, but were you going to give DJ Augustine 3 years, $21 million?
No, that's why I'm not. No, that's why I'm not even
Right.
mad. I just brought up Peyton just to stir
Now-
some pot.
right.
I don't
Now-
really care
now-
for Peyton.
But
Hey,
look,
Sam,
now,
hey,
now
Sam,
I
hey, Sam,
hold on
Sam,
one
real
second.
quick, real quick, Sam. I just want to say something. A lot of people are saying that the players we got, a la like Josh yesterday, because I saw your thing from this morning from yesterday, talking about how we're going to suck and how we're going to not be competitive and everything. And quite frankly, I don't. That's ludicrous. You think Tibbs is going to really not let these guys, bring it every night? I mean, come on.
So Sam,
Well, I mean, it's remained to be seen. I think they upgraded, with the players that they have. When you
they
break it
upgraded
down,
really good.
We broke it down last night. Comparing the players, and that they definitely upgraded. But there's still teams in the East that are pretty good, and they upgraded as well. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Hey, Sam,
Let me
I just wanted to say
before I
something.
go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. You go ahead, Mark.
Hold on.
Before I go, what the Knicks did was they're not going to suck. They're gonna right now they're trying to find their identity with the players that we got with the 4 young guys. I think they experiment those 4 young guys. I kind of really wanted to see what Dennis Smith had this year, but you signing Peyton. I don't know if Peyton's going to play or is just like someone to have just in case someone get hurt. But in some case, I don't know who's going to start or anything like that, or who's going to come off the bench. But I was listening to the show from yesterday when I was coming home, and I'm glad they didn't make the move for Russell Westbrook. I'm glad they did it.
Well,
Not over yet.
it's
Glad
not
they
over
did.
yet. It ain't over yet. It can still happen, bro.
No, I don't think Russell Westbrook ain't going nowhere unless they're getting back something out of that deal, so they can recuperate from the Chris Paul deal. Because if that was on the table, Sim, that would have done happen. That really would have done happen.
I don't know. I don't know if it would have been done happen because you just don't know. The Knicks still have $18 million in cap space, right? And
Yes.
if they take,
Sam, what would it take? What would it take, Sam? What would it take?
what would it take to
why
get
we gotta
Russell?
do this? Why we
What
gotta
would it
do
take?
this?
I'll tell you what it would take.
Graphics.
The only thing that it would take is this: Julius Randle, Dennis Smith Jr., and that cap space that they have available. That's all it would take, and some picks, some of those second round picks, and they got plenty of them.
Hey, Sam, can I say something?
But hold on one second, Isaiah. So what I was getting to though, Mark, is when you talk about those other point guards that could have been out there, I don't think the Knicks were willing to go past 1 year.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like.
And
when they
that's
was
what it
making
is.
the deal.
Because
Right, and guess what?
I
They either-
definitely would have given Rajon Rondo 2 years for $15 million, $7.5 million a year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would have did that.
Sam, I would have gave him 15 for 1 just to get him here.
No, it was a 1+ off, but no, they're using the cap right now. What they're doing is like what you said. They're pulling out the $5 million bucket. That was good because I laughed my ass
That
off.
five.
They are using they're using the salary cap very strategically and only picking out the pot to get assets, what they can pull. So what they're doing is smart, and this tells me they're either playing for 2021 draft because they know if they don't play for it, that'll be just asinine. They're just getting players around these guys that's good enough to win games and to compete, and they also looking to free agency 2021.
Yeah,
So
of course they are.
And Mark,
what they did was excellent. I'm glad. I don't know what they're pulling off, and what they've been pulling off was just excellent. I was calm through this whole weekend just watching. I was really calm.
No, you was not. Stop lying. You was not calm.
me,
I'm following you on Twitter, Mark. I was following you on Twitter. You not calm. You was bugging out.
Mark, Mark, it's crazy, Mark. I don't even got Twitter, and I heard about you on Twitter, bro.
Listen. I just scoffed at the Peyton thing because it's like, for what? But it's like, you're not going to be here next year. So, hey, I'm eager to play in the 2021's draft and the free agency. So, really, he might not even get run. So, I don't really care anymore. I'm just glad they just did not overpay for Bertans and Hayward and all these other players that got overpaid. That Hayward junk was crazy. That was nuts.
Yeah. All right, well, go ahead, Isaiah.
What's going on? What's going on, Sam, Tony Crow, Nate? What's going on, everybody? Now, you know what's crazy? Just to chime into what Mark was saying, man, just the confidence in Leon Rose and his coaching staff, and it shows me so much that they're planning for 2021, and they're also planning for 2023. And you know what? You know what's crazy? Sam? It really must be true, and it must be almost official that, you know, but in the NBA world and college world, that 2023 the high school is going to come back. It has to be true. Well, for them, you know, they're getting the confirmation in the pop line that 2023 high school is going to come back, because the way this man just flipped Ed Davis for like 5 picks, I mean, to get it ready for 2023 is going to be insane. Again, like, you know, we're going to disagree about the Payne thing. I'm not a big fan of the Payne thing. I really wish they would let him walk. But everything else, I literally, you know, am extremely happy about. Like you said, you know, we got the $5 bucket, you know, $5 million. You know, you go to Walmart, you might get them dollar DVDs. You might get a good DVD out of that.
You might get some classics in there sometimes. Be some classics in there.
Listen,
you might get
low budget movies are good. Don't hate on
Nah, facts. But Sin, no, for real though, man.
You're not gonna get the kind of movie that Isaiah wants to get out of the $5 bin. But
wait, hold on. First, I didn't want to say this is a kid's show. Yeah, this is a kid's show.
Oh, I didn't say. See what I'm talking. Hey, Tony. I didn't say nothing about anything. I just said you're not gonna get the kind of movie that Isaiah wants out of it, and then he says this is a kid's show. So where's your mind at, bro? Where's your mind at?
Oh man, before we go off the world, man, you know, just really, this week has been really good for the Knicks. This has probably been, not even joking, I'm 27. This may have been the best offseason I've seen the Knicks do in.
Exactly.
I don't know when. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know when. But
exactly.
But the most important part now, though, Sim, is that. This has to go on the court. We can all praise them. We could all praise Leon Rose, everything, but we gotta go on the court, and we gotta produce.
30 games.
You know, we gotta. To me, and I know we're gonna talk about it this whole month, but if we can get 30 to 40, I know 40 is a long shot, but if we can get between that range. I think, man, you got to give this front office just a standing ovation, and that's the first way to do it, man.
But Isaiah,
we're gonna see.
Isaiah, real quick, I believe
it's Chef J, by the way. Don't call me Isaiah anymore. It's Chef J, by the way.
What I was gonna say what I was gonna say was, I think with Tibbs and his coaching staff, they're gonna squeeze that out of these guys here. Now, again, I don't think the roster, I agree with everybody who's saying about, I don't think the roster is set for when they start December 1st, but I believe that Tibbs, and put it this way, Mark made me a believer in Tibbs.
Oh, Lord.
He was. I don't believe everything I speak. I'm just a truth teller.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to squeeze. I think Tibbs and his coaching staff, especially with Woody and all them and Kenny Payne, I think they're going to squeeze, enough wins to make everyone see that the Knicks are for real.
So, Kev, I just want to say one thing, Sim, too. And I don't know how you feel about this, because we're both Giants fans. You know how this is reminding me right now is how Coach Judge is playing right now. How he got these guys believing, and how how the Giants are really doing good. And we're going to win our division, by the way. But this is how I feel like Davis is going to be this year. I really do. I think he's going to have the Coach Judge effect. And these guys are going to play hard. It's not going to be like these other couple of years when, literally our last 3 coaches, Hornacek, David Fisdale, and Mike Miller, they're playing for the jobs. This front office trusts Tibbs. I trust Tibbs. And, I really believe this is the first time in 5 years we're going to have a coach that can actually have no pressure of getting fired.
Yeah, and
There's no pressure
Right.
of getting fired, and he can do he's gonna be able to do what he has to do. And with these guys, man, it's just.
and
I know,
not just
I know we say it feels different, but this time, man, it just.
but and not just him. You got Woodson on there. You got freaking
Answer the
Dane
house
on there. No, I'm not answering it. And who's the coach that came from Utah? That
Don't even
Right.
matter, bro. We got Woody and Tibbs. That's all.
Right.
yeah, Brian. Yeah, Brian. Come on.
I would have Woody.
You're totally right. You're totally right, Isaiah. Totally.
Yeah.
Hey,
Just a couple.
I like to be right. It feels good to be right. It feels
Yeah,
good.
yeah, okay. Just
All
a couple of updates before we go any further. Dario Saric,
Sorry.
he agreed to a 3-year, $27 million deal with the Phoenix Suns. Solomon Hill, he's agreed to a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Hawks. Damian Dotson, former New York Knicks, Damian Dotson agreed to a 2-year, $4 million deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'm happy for Dot, man. I'm happy for Dot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Markieff Morris is returning to the Lakers.
The clown.
Now, for anybody, I don't know
Oh
why
my
he's a
God,
clown.
this
I
dude.
don't know why he has to be a clown, but anyway,
Oh.
for anybody who's
Who's
worried,
the clown? Who's the clown?
hold up. For anyone who's worried about John Wall coming to the Knicks or being traded for by the Knicks, Wizards GM Tommy Shepard said John Wall has not requested a trade. He says he and Wall and Beal have always been on the same wave. This is according to Tommy Shepard. He said there's no issue with John and I or with John and the Wizards. So,
Man, they say that every Sunday before then you get 2 hours later, John Wall has been officially traded.
so
Isaiah, do you know how easy it is just to put things out and people just follow? Look at the internet.
yeah. So, we'll see. Matthew Dellavedova, he's agreed to re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's a 1-year minimum deal. So right now there's just little stuff that's going on. Free agent Alex Len, he's agreed to a deal with the Toronto Raptors.
Sim, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
My question is, are they going to start Obi Toppin right away? I've been wondering about that.
Well, it's going to depend.
I doubt it, honestly.
It's going to depend. It's going to depend on if Julius Randle gets traded for someone like a Westbrook. If he gets traded, then he probably will start because there's not going to be anybody better. If he does not get, hold up, don't cut me off, man.
Let me mute myself. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, there you go. You get backhanded like that.
You becoming the
Oh,
black.
I will come down to Maryland. Don't do that.
Yeah, okay. Come on, Verizon. Shut it off. Let me finish. Let me finish. But if Julius Randle is still there, then it's going to be a battle, and the best power forward wins out. But I will say this. I will say this though. If Julius Randle is here for the next year, for the next season, and then you see what the Knicks decide to do going forward. You got two centers, Mitch, and you got Noel. Then you got two power. Huh?
We have Noel?
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't know
Where
that?
you been?
Yo, I didn't, bro.
Oh man, somebody get this dude a new Wi-Fi, man.
Now I'm crushed, man.
Yeah. But check it.
Talking about Peyton, that's why.
Right.
You was talking about Peyton when the deals was going down. You wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
I just hate it. Just
all right. So let me
Man,
finish.
he's about to
So
be happy as hell now.
So from the center spot, you got Mitch and you got Noel.
that's
Right?
good.
And then at the power forward spots, you got Randall and you got Toppin. I mean, between those two positions, you got some decent depth there. Right? Now, if Obi Toppin is coming off the bench behind Randall, then the Knicks will decide, they'll say, hey, is he the truth, Obi Toppin? And he needs to just be here so he can take off like a rocket ship. Then we gotta, either they're gonna trade Julius Randle or they decide not to pick up his team option at the end of this season, right? So I don't think it's a problem for Obi Toppin to come off of the bench, make sure that he's going to be. Listen, I have no doubt that he's going to be an NBA, juggernaut. You know what I'm
Even
saying?
if
But
he's
make
got
sure
some
he's going to be
star-
an NBA juggernaut, and then they decide what they're going to do with Julius Randle. You know, they can waive him at the trade deadline because he has an option. He has
Oh, yeah, I forgot
because they
about
have a
that, too.
team option for the next year. They can trade him during the offseason. So, for a little while though, they'll be set at those two positions.
Yeah, because my thing is, right, it's not like Obi's 19, the dude is 22, so you really want to put a guy like that in, like, you want to get him rampant, like you want to ramp him up.
Right.
You want a 20-year-old starting on your team because it's not like he's young. If he was younger, I'd be like, all right, he could play off the bench and figure things out. Put his ass in at 22 years
You know,
old. He's
but
old.
but you know, we'll see what happens
Right.
now. Can they play together on the floor? That's the
No.
question.
No.
Can they play together on the floor? If they could play defense, then they could. If a team was playing small ball, but because neither one of them are strong defenders, then you're gonna have no rim protection at all.
But Sam, you know what's crazy, Sam? I think it's gonna be like how you said yesterday on the show last night, right? I think it's gonna either be a pairing of Randall and Mitchell or Obi Toppin and Nolan Noel.
Right.
So it's like it's like listen, they would have to be facing an Atlanta Hawks type of defense of bad teams that those two.
Bro, Atlanta got better, bro.
It'd have to be that level of defense of bad defenders to even get Obi Toppin and Randall on the floor together. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like I definitely don't see them ever really playing together unless it's like the Knicks are like down. Well, no, you don't even do that if you're down a lot of points because you need defense to get back. But I can't see them playing together. I just can't.
Well, I mean,
That's
the only thing that I'll say is they might give it a try in training camp, see what it looks like, things like that.
Yeah, who said who?
Hey, Tony
who changed my name for Who Am I?
Tony had a thought.
Go ahead, Tony.
Tony, what was
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to like Obi and Mitch getting their burn together and building the chemistry that way, and Noel and Randall getting their burn together, and even if they start or whoever starts, but I think I like that pairing, especially for the future. You know what I mean? Let them build that chemistry together because those two guys are projected as, being part of the future.
Right, they're projected as the future.
Now, Sam, let me ask you a question, Sam. As far as the small forward position, do you think that they'll move RJ 2 to 3 and then have Kevin Knox back him up? Do you think that you could see that happening?
Who knows? Who knows? It's possible that RJ goes to the 3 and you use Reggie Bullock and Alec Burks at the 2. Who knows? I guess they'll find out what they do when they get into training camp, right?
RJ better not play 2 this year. He needs to be a 3.
So
I love who they picked up. And I love who they picked up. I'm telling you right now, Mark may not be high on him, but I'm telling you right now, I seen him play in college. Miles Powell is no joke. All right, he was the
biggest player. I didn't say anything about Miles Powell.
He was the biggest player of the year. He was the biggest player of the year. Do I expect him to start? No, I don't. But
the point guard.
Yeah, but he's more of a combo guard than anything.
I
like him too. I like him a lot too.
He's a dog. He could play. I'm not worried.
With Miles Powell, I think that he's going to get a training camp invite. Listen, he's not on the roster.
No,
he's not on the roster. Oh.
No, those 16 contracts, and the Knicks got to shed one of those contracts, does not include Miles Powell. So he's going to be in training camp, and then they'll decide whether or not, make a decision what to do. Maybe they bump somebody off of the two-way contracts and he plays on a two-way contract, or maybe they say, hey, you go ahead and play in the G League for a year. And, if we move one of these other guards, then we'll allow you to come up and play. So, we'll see what happens there. Let me get to a couple of phone calls, fellas. Caller, you live. What's popping?
How you doing, Sam? This is David Tom calling from the Bronx again. I spoke to you yesterday about your show. Here's the thing. I like these moves that they're doing, though, when it comes with Leon Rose and stuff. But getting Westbrook and John Wall, that's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. And to be honest with you, having Westbrook is like another D Rose injury with the Chicago Bulls, where Tiz was the coach and he used D Rose till his knees almost came off. So I don't want no Westbrook, no John Wall. This is a proven season for the Knicks, man. Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, all these guys got to prove themselves and work hard, man, and fight for the 10th spot. Fight for the 10th seed. That's all I want the Knicks to do. Fight for the 10th seed. Show these superstars like Giannis and KD, be like, maybe I should have went to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? These guys play hard. But if you're giving these guys like Westbrook and John Wall because of jersey sales and all that, and once injuries come, we got to be stuck with their contract.
I agree with you. I hear you. I hear you.
He's 32 years old. He's 32 years old. I don't want another D Rose type of player injury with Westbrook and on the Knicks. That's just a bad look. So I love you guys. I was just on the chat. Hey, Sam, keep up the good work.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Have a good one. Let's get to another phone call here. Caller, you live. What's popping with you?
Yo, what's up, Sam?
How you feeling?
I'm good. How you feeling, Doug?
I'm good.
So yeah, wanted to talk about the lack thereof of what we did in the offseason, right? And I'm completely cool with it. I think we had a great offseason, first and foremost. We got the best player available in Obi. Wasn't necessarily the dude who I wanted us to get. Wanted us to definitely address the point guard situation, but it is what it is. And especially right now too, though, because I feel like our two best players are the two players that we probably most hopeful with to get better. RJ and Obi. I feel like they both probably need a good point guard, a good leader. You know what I'm saying? Like even a good shot creator or whatever. But it is what it is. I'm fine with what we did, what we have not done in the off season. It's probably one of the first off seasons that we haven't offered anybody a dumb contract, something like that. Little side note though, I think what Charlotte actually did with Gordon Hayward, I think that shows that they are completely fully invested in Melo, right? Or LaMelo. I mean, not disrespect Carmelo Anthony, but they completely invested in LaMelo, trying to give him another score or whatever. But for us, I don't see a problem with it. I hate when us Knicks fans want to just see instant gratification. You get what I'm saying? Like we got to look at and really see what's a good year for us next year. If we would have got Fred VanVleet or Hayward, we would have probably won in our division an extra 2-3 games, and that's not really doing nothing for us. You get what I'm saying? A good year for us next year is Obi and RJ averaging anywhere between 16 to 20 points on good shooting percentages and whatnot. Mitch hopefully being able to stay on the floor. A good year for us next year isn't necessarily predicated upon us winning, 50 games and getting into the playoffs. I think that's like asinine to even think that way. You know what I'm saying? But that was pretty much it, man. I just think that we need to really be looking at the long game. 2021 is going to be cool for us. We could potentially get 2 lottery picks in 2021. And if that's the case, I legit think that 2022 we can make the playoffs, and we'll be set for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? With what we got building and going on, and giving up just 1 year. You know what I'm saying? So that's all, man.
Yeah.
Y'all do what y'all thought.
All right, man.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate you.
Sure.
And in the vein of what he was saying about being patient, let's take a listen to what John Calipari had to say about the Knicks. And after that, I want to talk a little bit about this team or this front office using their connections and how you guys feel about it.
Second thing is, I will.
So let's get it. This is John Calipari, ladies and gentlemen. And, talking about having a bunch of Kentucky guys on the Knicks and all that stuff. So let's take a look.
Second thing is, I will be watching a lot of Knick games. Leon is a dear friend. Wes is a dear friend. Kenny, and he's like my brother. And now you got some of my guys there. Nerlens was a great pickup. And let me tell you why. It's time to break through for him. And now what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it, they're not trying to do it in a hurry. They got a terrific coach, a proven coach, a playoff coach. And now they've just got to build within. And they're going to start doing it. I mean, I think they've got the reason I encouraged them with Kenny Payne, how good can Julius be? Like, he's good. Well, where can we really go? With Kenny there, I think he's got one more guy in his corner to help build his confidence, to train him, to push him. Also, Kevin Knox. Mark, do you and Ian remember what I said when you drafted him? Oh, he's the youngest guy in the draft. Don't expect it overnight. It may take 2 or 3 years. And everybody nodded like you are. And then when he doesn't turn it around right away, they say, well, what's up with Kevin Knox? Kevin Knox, again, let's see how good he can be. And that's why you want a Kenny Payne with you. And I think that the Knicks are on a different path. You may not see right away overnight the results that listen, it took us a while to get here. It's going to take a little while to get us where we want to go, but it took us a while to get where we are. Didn't happen in a year. So let this thing play out. And I think in the end, I think everybody's going to be pleased.
I'm sorry. I agree with John Calipari, right?
Yeah, I agree with him too.
Let's let this thing play out a little bit, see how it flows, see what happens, before we just jump the gun and try to go crazy. I think they have enough players. They've made enough of an upgrade to be very competitive. And again, if you can get to that 10th seed, the Knicks were at the 12th seed last season, and they were out of that 10th spot by just a couple of games.
And who knows what would have happened if the season would have kept going?
Who knows? So there is a chance.
RJ Barrett was playing good. Frank was playing good.
The last 2 months of the season, February and March, the Knicks were playing 500 basketball.
But nobody don't see that, especially some of our Knicks fans. They don't see that.
Yeah, they were playing 500 basketball. So let's see if they can at least get to that 10th spot. You get to the 10th spot, you got a chance to get into the playoffs.
That's all we need.
By winning a couple of games.
Just a chance. Just a chance.
But you know what's crazy though, Sim? I literally remember when we picked Kevin Knox. I remember John Calipari said that.
Yeah.
About Kevin Knox. He literally said that it's gonna take. It's so funny because I respect John Calipari because he was like, y'all nodding your heads right now like I did a couple years ago. And then when it didn't happen, y'all like, oh.
Right.
But it's true though, because it's like, if I tell you something, like, I work with Kevin Knox. He's gonna be a couple years. And if John Calipari, and listen, and this is why people don't take stuff serious when people say stuff. If John Calipari, who has multiple first round, like one and done guys, tells you a guy needs more time, take it serious.
Yep.
And his track record is good because all Kentucky players end up winding up being good NBA players, even rotation players. So,
it's the fans that don't take it serious. It's the fans not taking it serious.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like with Knox, people thought Knox can go to like all-star level, and
you know what it is though, Mark? Mark, you know what it was though, Mark? They saw Devin Booker, and they saw, Devin Booker came off the bench in Kentucky, so that means Kevin Knox, he got. Bro, it didn't work.
But the thing when Devin Booker was there, when he came in, he was recruited differently. When you go to Kentucky, he put you in a role, and that was the role for Devin Booker. He did that to all the star players come from high school. He did that to them. He put them in a role so they could all play together, so they could all look good and get drafted, which they all do.
Now let me ask you,
which Knox has not had in his time in New York.
Right.
A role.
Right. Now, let me ask y'all this. The player that Phoenix had took, got traded to from Philly, was Michael Bridges when they were comparing Mikal Bridges. Okay. What is it that happened with him that didn't happen with Knox?
Well, you got to understand, Mikal, I'm going to say he was 20, 20? He's 22, 21.
22 when he got drafted. He was a 4-year college player.
Yeah.
And he played in Villanova with Coach J.
And that's the reason why everybody compares, those two. They're saying, well, he was good. Why can't Knox be on that level?
Well, and also, and Mark, be ready to smile about this, Mark. Okay, be ready to smile. See, he's already smiling. KP came in.
I love smiling, damn it.
But listen, KP came in, and
Oh God.
he was supposed to be a project, and he instantly was not a project, right? So instantly it was like, oh snap! Look what KB can do. Look where he is. He's averaging 13 points, whatever rebounds per game, and already, ready to ascend right from the beginning. So, people I think expected or was hoping that you got the same thing from Knox. Right. He's supposed to be a project, but maybe he can come in and do such and such. Well, he did come in and score 12 points and 5 or 6 rebounds a game or whatever it was. But then he took that dip the second year.
He just regressed last year, but his first year was okay. His first year was okay.
Half of it was his fault, but then the other half, a big part of it, was the Knicks. Was the Knicks. Exactly.
They threw him to the bottom of the bench and destroyed his confidence. The same with DSJ.
Hold up. One at a time, guys. One at a time. Let one person finish before you go. Go ahead.
What were you saying, Joe?
Yeah, what I was saying was with Knox and DSJ, they were more or less to brought vets in to take their spot and put them at the bottom of the bench. You need to let these guys play.
Exactly.
Like last year, you had Marcus Morris, all these guys fighting for money, and then you had your coaching staff and GMs fighting for their jobs. Now you have a clean slate. Now you have Tibbs is going to have job security for the next 2 or 3 years, and then Leon Rose will, because they're going to patiently build this. I still do believe the Westbrook trade can be in play because the way they went and got young shooters or cheap shooters to put around him without killing the cap when they bring him in. Because then if they bring Westbrook in, they still have over $40 million next year. So I still believe that Westbrook is going to be in play. And I think he's going to help Knox. And he's going to help because he's going to get them to play aggressive. The problem with Knox has been not playing aggressive enough, too soft.
His motive for an 18-year-old, I question that. I don't like to look at an 18-year-old and that don't like to play basketball and you're getting paid millions of dollars. That was my red flag. When drafting him that night, I did not say he's not a good shooter or he can't be a good player. It was the motor. And sometimes you can't teach motor. It's very hard. Because look how people dog Wiggins. Look how people dog Wiggins.
Oh my God!
So this is what
that boy.
This is what I'm asking you guys to do.
Just no motor.
This is what I'm asking you guys to do. When you're done speaking, I want you to throw it to somebody to speak next. All right, so be ready to have something to say. That way we don't, and so everybody just don't jump in until it's thrown to you. All right,
okay.
That way I don't have to mute nobody. So just whoever got something to say, just hold it until it's thrown to you. All right, so we gonna pass the mic. All right, Isaiah, it's on you.
Yeah, so okay. All right. I like that first. I'm first pick,
Man, just come on, man. Nobody, stop,
No, so right, I remember so I remember you were talking about the connections, right? You know what it hit me last night, Sam, about Austin Rivers? Guess who was on the coaching staff with Doc on the championship team, on the Celtics team?
Tom Thibodeau.
Yo, and it hit me last night. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, yo, these two really know each other because I'm like Austin Rivers to the Knicks. I'm like, like who's he really cool with? Then I'm like, Tom Thibodeau. They were part of the coaching staff. So you know what, Sim? I mean, listen, good or bad, we're gonna find out. But these connections, and again, right, it's just not the Knicks. Let's be really understanding about it. It's just not the Knicks because if we look at the Lakers, Lord have mercy, it's just Rich Paul. Which again, I love Rich Paul. I love that's a strong black man doing what he got to do. I love it. But you know what? The Knicks are definitely going to use the connections for, with CEA, Kentucky, and good or bad, we're going to find out. But I'm excited. Again, is everything good? So I'm going to pass it to Tony. Look, he's sleeping. Pass it to Joe.
I agree. They're going with connections, and it's not like they're bringing in young guys too. The thing I like about the team is our oldest vet is 29 in Alec Burke. So we have a young team. They're going with guys that are familiar because with this year, especially with college with Obi and with Emmanuel Quickly, they went familiar because a lot of the college season got cut short. So they're going with guys that they're familiar with and then they know because they were only allowed to bring in, I think it was like 10 guys for workouts. So they went with familiar. They brought in then in free agency yet again familiar guys, CA guys, Kentucky guys, and I think that's what they're just going to keep doing. I don't think that they want to. I think they want to stay in house because this is their first time This is Leon Rose's first time running the team.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't think he wants to make any mistakes. He wants to keep a kind of go for the first year or two, stick to what he's familiar with.
And I think that's smart. I think that's really smart, right? In the beginning, you stick with what you're familiar with. Guys that you are familiar with, you know their families, you know what kind of character they have, you know, all that kind of stuff. You understand their contract situations and all of that. I think that's a smart move. You know what I'm saying?
And sorry,
Yeah.
Sam, I just want to chime in with that real quick, but you're absolutely, you and Joe are absolutely right. And I'm thinking about it now, right? It makes so much sense. In a season of unknowns, you go with what you know. That's a little haiku, you know?
But, you know, I didn't pass the mic to you, though. I didn't pass the mic to you. Come on, man. I didn't pass the mic to you. So you got to get it together, bro. Let me get to a couple of these super chats here and then get to the guy that's on the phone. Raw Hebrew, he said, we're playing chess, not checkers. He said, forget about Wall and Westbrook.
Thanks.
Mixed Elements, 17, he said, Big Wayne from BX. Shout out to you, my brother. He said, get Westbrook. We need to be competitive before we think about a chip. So you got two different opinions right there. You heard Joe said I agree, right? And then you got Shaquille Madison. Thank you for the super chat. He said, free Iggy, let the kid ball out. When we go to exclusively on Sportscaster, we're going to talk about training camp. All right, we're going to start moving into training camp. It's just a week away. And then Pedro Matos, he said, Rivers is a jag, just another guy. He said there's a reason he's been on 6 teams in his career. He's a stopgap, so stop pretending he's not just mediocre. I mean, that's okay. He might be a stopgap, but every other guard that we were looking at getting was going to be a stopgap, including Chris Paul. It was going to be a stopgap. Right?
Everybody got paid, right? Michael?
Right.
McKee,
I mean, what guy... Pedro, what guy were you looking at getting that was not going to be a stopgap besides finding someone in the draft? Anyone that you were trading for was going to be a stopgap. DJ Augustine or anyone that you were signing was going to be a stopgap. DJ Augustine, stopgap. Jeff Teague, stopgap. Right? Fred VanVleet wanted to stay in Toronto. Chris Paul would have been a stopgap. There's nobody that you were signing in free agency was not. Everybody was going to be a stopgap, my friend.
Yo, bro, he played it right, man. He played it right. He really did. Because all these dudes got overpaid, dude.
Yeah.
Just look at the market right now.
Yeah.
Let me get to the guy on the phone. Let me get to the guy on the phone. Then we'll pass it to somebody. Caller, you live. What's popping?
You speaking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm my first time call. I'm new to this thing, so I don't hear it. You could you could see what the Knicks are trying to do if you look a little closer, like the game, what they're playing. So the main point is to get the Knicks looking exciting for free agents, to come. So 3 words: Lob City 2. The fact that when they got Obi Toppin, that might have changed how they look at how their postseason, right? So the thing with Lob City, they had the point guard to do it. And that's why Westbrook might be good to come in for this. But being that they don't have that one point guard, what they do have, you hear how Thibodeau, he says that they use their strength and cover their weaknesses, So their strength is that they're young and they're athletic, and Kenny Payne runs them on the treadmill. So that, if they just want to run, transition, and get all those lobs, but they don't have the point guard to do it. So you get a bunch of point guards, so you get it to all these guys they got are combo guards. They could all probably, you could throw a lob or bring it down fast. It looks like that's how they're going to play. That's how they're going to play, and that's the quickest way to make the Knicks look excited.
Okay, so let me ask you, what point guard on this roster do you think fits that style of play the best?
Alfred Payton, he's the best. The best. That's why I think they brought him back. To have one guy that you could throw a lob, you could throw a lob to these guys. That's probably why they brought him back. I didn't really like it either, but I mean, now they really got to trade Julius Randle because he doesn't fit with that system. He's old school inside bruiser. But we were sick of his little spinovers. But he has value about them around the league. There's not so many guys in the league, he plays like a similar game like Montrezl Harrell. He was, you know, 6th man of the year. You know, the guy who just goes inside and beats everybody up. There's not too many guys left in the game that could do that. So he might have some value around the league. We like are sick of him, so we just want to get rid of him. But I don't, you know, he has some value around the league too, and he has got a good contract too. So.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. That's also why they got New Orleans Noel. He's also similar, you know, catching lobs, high percentage. You know, but that's their strength. Their strength is having Obi Toppin and Mitch and this other guy who just catch lobs. You know, so just run. And they get also a lot of pick and rolls. You know, when they get into the half court, you have numerous guys they could run on the pick and rolls. Not just Mitch. It could be Mitch and Toppin, and you have all these guards or combo guards that could run it.
Yeah. So, John Calipari said that he believes it's time for New Orleans Noel to break out. He's 26 years old. He's been in the league for a little while. Do you think New Orleans Noel can break out? I mean, I kind of think he is who he is, but what do you think?
Truth is, I'm not that familiar with him as a player, but you know, if he had, I think with the Knicks developmental guys, the 26 is still young enough. I think these guys all could develop. You know, I don't think, you know, I think Mitch is something special. You know, but yeah, you know, if he breaks out, why not? It's a good year, and then go on get another contract or stick with the Knicks. You know, have his bird rights, re-sign him.
All right,
I like that signing also. You know, it fits, and it's also it fits that they can play that system the whole time. You know, it doesn't change when Mitch gets out of the game.
Right.
You know, this is our system, and you know, it's interchangeable parts.
Yeah.
You know, that's what all these guys they picked up are interchangeable. They have a lot of these combo guards. These guys who work point guards, maybe they drive. You know, even I don't think Frank. I think Frank is you know, he should be a 2-guard. Shouldn't even be focusing on setting up the defense. You know, if he could get open or get drive, you know, hopefully his shot got better. But put him as a 2-guard. You know, for his defense. But you know, a lot of these guys they have. The only, you know, most of these guys are like combo guards quickly also.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, man.
Point guard at some point, he knows how to make the passes. But that's what I think they're going to do. I think they're just going to run and throw lobs.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Hey, I appreciate your call, man.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Sim. By the way, Sim, I just wanted to say, someone said that was a bad link to Sportscaster.
Okay. I'll check it out. But go ahead, Joe.
I agree with him. You need a point guard that's going to be able to throw nice lobs. You're going to need a point guard that can run it, that'll be able to pass the ball quick or run on the fast break, especially when you have Obi, you have Mitch, you have Noel, all these guys that'll catch lobs. It's easy points. So you need a point guard. Like Peyton fixed the bill when it comes to the passing, but I don't know about this fast break. That's why I think Lonzo Ball is the perfect fit if we could try and get him in with this team. Because that's what I think this team needs to do is sit in the fight. It's going to be, instead of this half-court game, counter-attacking basketball. Defend and hit on the counter-attack. That's what this team needs to do, because you have RJ can run, Obi can run, Mitchell run. Like all these guys, this team want guys that'll run. And I think that's going to be our big downfall if we don't have a point guard that can run or can get these long passes done.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Westbrook could be a nice fit to bring in. But realistically, I like Lonzo Ball better because he's cheaper and he's younger and he can grow with the team. But if not, that's why I think Westbrook is still on the table, because you think about it, they got all these cheap deals, like cheap shooters to put around them. And Westbrook would be the perfect fit for Obi and for Mitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's gonna bring aggression to the team, and he's gonna bring a fast pace that we need in the point guard position. Because what I see with the guys we have now, I don't see none of them can get it done. Peyton would be the closest, but we'll see what happens.
Wait. All right. I think this is probably the only time that I'm going to disagree with Joe. Y'all are missing what Frank can do. I've seen Frank give Mitch plenty of lobs. And I've seen Alfred too, but I've seen Frank do it a lot better than what Alfred has done. I mean, I mean, people keep saying that he's that Frank is slow. He's not slow. All right. The only thing that he has to work on is his shot. That's the only thing that's separating him from everybody else is his shot. He can run the team. He ran France.
Facts.
And locked up Kemba Walker. He can be that person. Am I saying that he should start? If everything comes together, no. But in the meantime, you could put him into that starting role, and he will give Mitch, he will give Toppin, he will give them those lobs.
Okay.
And I've seen him work on his shot this summer. I think the kid is ready. I think all right, if you're going to ask me who do I think is going to have a breakout season, I think Frank could be that it. I think Frank could be that person. Because
I agree with you. I agree with you, Kevin, because I was watching, I was just looking at him work out and looking at some of the things. I was just looking at some old video and stuff like that. If there's a guy that could break out, he could be a guy that breaks out from this team. I agree with you. I definitely do.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to continue to harp on this. When you put Sim in a consistent basketball.
So you said put Sim?
Put Sim? Yeah.
No. Yes, my bad. God damn.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You could put him in a consistent offense and you tell Fred, this is what I need you to do. He can do that because there's no way he goes to play for France. He was one of the stars for France that he can't play basketball. He can't play the guard spot. What he's not is a full-time guard. He could play some of the off-ball responsibilities, but he can also run a team from time to time. You're not going to want him at your full guard attack. He's not that. But when you're talking about an interchangeable guard, he can do such things. Because there's no way, if he wasn't good, he wouldn't be playing for France. I'm not asking him to play 35 minutes.
And another thing at the end of the game.
Pass it to me.
One more time. One thing. Another thing is at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, you're going to want him going up against. You're going to want him going up against, those star, guards. You're going to want him going up against your Augustines, your, you name it. You're going to want him.
Augustine ain't no star guard, but,
Yeah, I was trying to pick somebody else. Okay, you're Trey Youngs. You're going to go, you're Trey Youngs, your Kemba Walkers. You're going to want
Trey Young, Kevin.
So, Sam, I just want to.
Hold on. We're supposed to be passing the mic now. We got to pass the mic to the next person.
I'm going to pass it to Isaiah.
So I'm gonna pass it to you, Mark. Next, I got you, bro. So no, seriously, right? So when it comes, I've been waiting for this. Moment. So Frank, right? This kid, he just got to get the shot. I've been on, different shows, with the MBK family, and I keep hearing about, Frank's forward and this. I mean, Frank, to me, mindset is a point guard. Sim said this probably a couple years ago about Frank. And I think this is one of the best abilities Frank has, which is also sometimes a downfall too. A coach will go to Frank, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. And the thing with Frank is he's going to do X, Y, and Z. So if James tells Frank, I need you to do this, this, and this, Frank is going to do that. Now, some can say that's a negative because it's like, you want your point guard to, take the helms and this. But you also want a guy that's going to do because again, the point guard is just the extension of the coach. So with Frank, if they're telling him, we got to run, Frank, he's going to run. But, Frank just needs to get this shot going, work on the corner shots, work on the threes, do a little drive. Because the crazy thing with Frank is Frank shot like almost close to 90% on free throws. But the sucky thing about it, which I actually got mad about, is that this kid didn't drive. That's the thing that frustrated me with Frank. I'm not gonna lie, I love Frank, but if you shoot 90%, Frank,
he drove towards the end. Towards the end, he drove.
He was working towards. That's why I kind of hated that season ended because Frank was really playing better. And he was, getting 10 points a game, 12 points a game, 14 points. He was doing that. But again, right, Frank is just, and he's been working on the shot. If Frank can get that shot going, if that dude can hit,
he's too unselfish.
37, yeah, he is too unselfish. If he can hit 37, 38% from three, man, we're talking about a whole different type of game that we're going to be rolling with. And again, right, if he tells Frank to play a certain way.
You just said that. You're going to pass the mic or what? You just said that.
You keep
finding different words to say the same thing, bro. You finding different words to say the same thing. Pass the mic.
Sam, I'm not that far from Maryland. I promise you.
Okay.
I will get down there by 11 o'clock, and we will be fighting.
Well, just pass the mic. Pass the mic first, then get on the road. Pass the mic, then get on the road.
I don't want to give up the mic now. This is my mic. This is my show. This is nothing but Isaiah. Not playing, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
I'm gonna just say this, man. Knicks fans, stop thinking of Frank as some like all-star level guard. The dude is he's a role player. That's what he does. He does the things that other guys that you want them to do, and he does it at a decent level that I like. If he didn't do it, I'd have said trade him. I value him because that's the guy I can say, go guard that guy for 38 minutes. Okay? You have to have a guard like that. So when you get a star player, they don't have to worry about defending every possession.
And he'll do it.
Okay? And the thing with Frank is, how can you judge the kid when he's been through how many coaches and how many years in different
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. It's been four coaches.
He's a system type of a player. When you put him in, he has a role, and he goes out there and execute the role. That's why when you look at him overseas, they have specific roles for specific players, and they go do their job. The Knicks couldn't even run a proper pick and roll. They couldn't because you had forwards that couldn't barely screen. This team could not do nothing offensively. We was like toddlers on the floor. But for him and his impact, Sim, I kid you not, I've never seen a player that disrupts offensives. It's not about one-on-one defense. It's all about time. He's smart enough to read the other team's offense. That's what it's about. When you watch LeBron James, that's how he defends. He's reading the other team's offense. A lot of guards don't do that. A lot of guards do not do that. He's more detail-oriented when it comes defensively. This kid, let me tell you, they're not getting rid of him because if they did, they'd have been got him off. They value this kid. Because
case closed.
Just because he can defend and he could do things at an NBA level. He can do it. And when I see him go against Luka in person, I've never seen Luka sweat. He legitimately sweat. He couldn't move. He couldn't get to his move. That's the type of defense Frank. Now, when you bring Tom Thibodeau in, he's going to create an offense where a guy like that can't shoot, he's going to have corner shots. Just wait till we get consistent offensively, and then you can attack Frank the way I want to attack him.
Okay. All right. Let me get to this phone call. Call E Live. What's popping? Hello? What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, Simeon, long-time caller. Long-time viewer, first-time call.
All right. Appreciate you for calling in.
So I was listening for a little while, and earlier ago you guys talked about the Russell Westbrook stuff.
Yeah.
So I went on the trade machine, and I found something pretty interesting that not many people are talking about.
All right.
When you try and trade for Russell Westbrook on the trade machine by including Julius Randle and, let's say, Dennis Smith, it actually invalidates the trade because the pay discrepancy between Westbrook and the two players that we'd be giving up is too large. And then so the only valid way for the Knicks to trade for Westbrook is by including both Kevin Knox and like another $5 million player, probably like Frank Ntilikina or something. Right. And that's going to be the only way we're going to be able to trade for Westbrook.
Well, I don't think the trade machine on ESPN allows you to account for a team that has cap space where you can absorb some of the cap space, right? So, yeah. So if you trade Julius Randle and DSJ, that adds up to about $26 million, right? And so then there's another $14 million that you got to make up, but the Knicks have $18 million in cap space that they can use still.
Right.
Right. So the rest of the money would be made up with the Knicks cap space. So you wouldn't have to match the salaries of the players because the Knicks have cap space to absorb the rest of that contract. So I don't think the trade machine accounts for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was just curious because, Westbrook's been my favorite player for a long time. So obviously, when the rumor mill started piping up about the Knicks possibly getting him, I was all for it. But I just don't really know how the Knicks are going to be able to pull this off without giving up 2 first-round picks and then maybe some seconds. Houston's known for really scalping teams whenever they try to do a trade. So I don't know what we could do for that.
Yeah, well, the only thing I would say, if the Knicks really do want him, if they really do want him, the thing for them to do is wait. Wait, right? Because if Russell Westbrook says he wants out and they can't find a deal, then they got to take what the Knicks will give them. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being able to demand stuff. So, what'd you say?
I said not every team can trade for Westbrook.
Not every team can trade. I mean, if somebody really, really wants him, I guess they could really find a way to do it. But if right now they're not really getting offers to trade for Westbrook, then the best thing that the Knicks can do is wait. Wait until they get desperate.
Right. All right. And just one more thing. I'm really happy to be on the Knicks mothership, as you guys called it the other night. But I was just curious. I tried to join in onto the whereby link, but every time I try to type in the URL, it sends me to my own page. And I don't know.
That's old. I just haven't taken it down. Now the people that get in the chat are members. We had some issues a while back with somebody doing some funny stuff on the whereby, so we had to switch up. Yeah. So
what's the new?
I got to take that down. So in order to do that, you got to be a member. So you join to be a member, and then you can get on the Zoom.
Oh, perfect. I'll make sure I do that then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for taking my call.
What you doing, man?
I really love all your content, and I just love what you guys are doing on here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. We got some fun stuff coming up too for members and for non-members. I don't want to say non-members. Everyone's a member. For people who joined and for people who didn't join, we got some fun stuff coming up for people who joined. We got some game nights we're going to be doing, and we might do some game nights even for people who didn't join. But we're going to give the people who joined first dibs, stuff like that. So, and when I say game nights, I don't mean like going to the game, because that's out for a little while. I'm talking about getting on the Zoom and playing some virtual games and just cooling out together as a group.
Hey, I'm happy to be part of the family, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. We appreciate you. Have a good one. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to, at this point, we're going to switch on over to Sportscaster and complete this show on Sportscaster. The link is pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, and it's also in the description of this video. All right. When we get over there, we are going to talk about training camp, because training camp is coming up. Next week, we got 1 week until training camp. So we're going to talk about training camp and what do we expect from the players out of training camp. We're going to talk about Iggy. What's going to happen with Iggy? Right? That's an interesting one. Are the Knicks going to keep one of the guys that they just traded for when they traded Ed Davis for those 2 second-round picks? Are they going to keep Amari Spellman? Will he come to training camp? Right? What about Miles Powell? Will he be in training camp? He should be in training camp. What other players might they bring to training camp? I'm sure they're going to try to snatch up some players and bring them to training camp. And, what kind of things do we expect from Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff in training camp? It's coming up next week. We're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you join us again. The link is in the description of this video. The link is also pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. And I'm about to spam the YouTube chat with the link as well. What'd you say?
I said, your chat is going crazy, because they're going Frank locked up Sim, Frank locked up the Knicks. They going
Yo, I'm telling you though, I know videos is just videos, right? But just some of the things, the fundamentals are getting better, stronger. I like what I'm seeing from him, man.
Yeah,
And
bro. Just give me like I said.
he could have a breakout year.
Would you guys then start him if he has a good camp at the beginning of the year? Put him starting at the 1.
No, I like him coming off the bench with the young guys. I really do. Because when you watch last year, when they used to run with the young guys, there was like there was something there with them from time to time. He's a bench. He in the NBA right now, for what he is right now, he's a bench player, and I'm okay with that. He's going to be very effective. And the thing is, he's going to be able to play fourth quarter minutes because he's that good defensively.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as well. But if Joe, if he shows that he's running what Thibodeau wants, I have no problem with him being the starter.
No, I want him to get better. I want him to be
exactly. And I guess for me, I just don't want people just to dismiss what he has done, because again, we don't know what would have happened if the season didn't, get cut off and everything.
Knicks fans are just impatient. They want to see.
They want 20, 10, and 15.
They want same with Knox. Same with Knox as well. Expect them to come up.
Yeah. So guys, let me switch on over to Sportscaster. Before I do that, just really quick, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick rundown of the Knicks week. This is Knicks Weekly, so we need to talk about everything that happened during the week. Quick rundown. Again, to start the week, before the draft even came, they traded the 27th and the 38th pick for the 23rd pick. They drafted Obi Toppin. Then they traded the 23rd pick for the 25th and the 33rd picks. Then they drafted Emmanuel Quickly. They drafted Daniel Oturu. Then they traded Daniel Oturu for 2 second-round picks in 2023. Then they signed Miles Powell. They waived Elfrid Payton, Taj Gibson, Wayne Ellington, and Kenny Wooten. They declined Bobby Portis' team option, set themselves up for free agency. Then they absorbed Ed Davis's contract for 2 second-round picks in 2023. They signed Alec Burks. They signed Elfrid Payton back on a cheaper deal. Then they signed Nerlens Noel. They signed Austin Rivers. And get it, all of these guys that they signed 4 guys. All of them are signed for 1 year, $5 million. Austin Rivers is signed for 1 year. Well, he signed for 3 years, but the final 2 years of the contract are non-guaranteed.
I ain't going to front. So this year he got him on $3 million.
$3 million.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then they traded Ed Davis for Amari Spellman, Jacob Evans, and 2 future second-round picks, ladies and gentlemen. That was the New York Knicks week. We're starting a new week. We'll see what they do this week. But that was the New York Knicks week last week. It was a busy one. So now, it looks like they've signed their draft picks. They signed Obi. They signed Emmanuel Quickly. Right? And they also signed Alec Burks. They haven't officially signed Nerlens or Austin or Payton yet, which says to me, if they don't sign them officially,
trade
within the next couple of days, then something could happen during the trade, because that means they're figuring out where they're going to put the money. Are they going to use exceptions, this, that, and the other thing? So, ladies and gentlemen, my friends who are on YouTube, please join me over on Sportscaster right now. Again, the link is pinned to the top of this chat. I'm also spamming my own chat, so you can join me on Sportscaster. We're going to talk about we're going in. We're going to talk about training camp. What might happen at training camp, ladies and gentlemen? What'd you say?
We got 2 second-round picks in that Ed Davis trade?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and those 2 players?
And those 2 players.
How the hell he pulled that off?
I don't know, but they did something.
That was
again. That's Leon Rose. That's the Don. That's the Don. That's the new Don.
2 second rounds for Ed Davis. What did he do?
That's the Don. Am I right, Tony? That's the Don.
Join us on Sportscaster, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for passing the ball, man. You guys was icing me out.
Right, exactly. Come on, man. Y'all was icing my man out. Join me on Sportscaster, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the chat. The link is in the